They say that we're products of our environment. What happens around us when we're young is what forges our personality. That's why the story of Michael Porter Jr. is even more incredible, and it's even more difficult to comprehend. Years ago, MPJ wasn't known for being that scorer who threw up more shots than passes during a game. He wasn't Michael "the possession ends here" Porter Jr. just yet, nor was he known for being a member of one of the most controversial families in the basketball world. Years ago, people simply believed that Michael was going to be a generational player in the NBA. Now, we can all agree at this point that's not going to be the case, right? Porter Jr. is not going to be the new LeBron James or the new Kobe Bryant or even the new Kevin Durant, or at least not with that back. But with his style of play, Michael has found his niche in the NBA. Thanks to his personality, the forwards become one of the best role players in the entire league on a team that's poised to make history, in part because of him. And more importantly, Michael's made the right choices in order to have a comfortable life, unlike several of his family members. This is the story of how even injuries haven't slowed down Indiana's golden child, who's become the X factor in the league's new dynasty. Let's go back to just a few weeks ago, when a scandal was uncovered that kept even Adam Silver up at night. Jontay Porter, Michael's younger brother, was the subject of an NBA investigation in which he was accused of betting on games in which he participated. While the league has made some very dangerous approaches to its sponsorship with bookmakers, this is, of course, completely illegal. Jontay, who had played 37 games in 2 seasons between Memphis and Toronto, was banned for life from ever playing in the NBA again. But this was only the beginning of the disastrous weeks ahead for the family. On April 27th of this same year, Jevon Porter, Michael's younger brother, was arrested on suspicion of DWI in Missouri. The truth is, it was probably the worst timing for Jevon because just a week prior, Coban Porter, Michael's other younger brother, was sentenced to 6 years in a Colorado prison a week earlier for the homicide of 42-year-old Uber driver Katharina Rothman while driving under the influence of alcohol. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why driving intoxicated is dangerous to everyone. It may have been bad luck, or maybe not, but the last few weeks have been utterly tragic for a family that was destined to turn several athletes into professionals. It says even more about Michael's mentality that, given his family background, he's managed to make good decisions off the court. His parents, Michael Sr. and Lisa Porter, did their best to educate their sons and daughters in the values of being a student athlete. Lisa starred at the University of Iowa from 1983 to 1987, earning Big Ten Freshman of the Year honors and leading the Iowa Hawkeyes to their first conference title, something that decades later, by the way, Caitlin Clark would achieve again. While Michael Sr. played at the University of New Orleans from 1986 to 1989. He also coached at the University of Washington until becoming the director of player development at Missouri. In short, both parents were basketball players at a high level, and they wanted their sons to go even further. They certainly did a great job with Michael. By the time the wing attended Father Tolton Regional Catholic High School in Columbia, he was already one of the best players in the state. He led Father Tolton to the 3A state championship, and then he joined Mocan Elite in the Nike Elite Youth Basketball League, where he averaged 26.2 points and 11.5 rebounds per game. His performance was so good that he was voted co-MVP of the tournament along with a teammate. His name may ring a bell. You heard of Trae Young? During his senior year of high school, Porter transferred to Nathan Hale High School in Seattle, as his father had been hired by the University of Washington to fill the position of assistant coach. His new coach was former NBA star Brandon Roy. And during that season, how to say, Michael became a basketball god? Not only did he average 36 points and 13 rebounds per game, but he also won the Washington Class 3A state championship with a record of 29 wins and 0 losses. According to Scout.com and ESPN, Michael was the second best player in his entire class in the entire world. According to Rivals, he was the best. With 5-star ratings on all the sites, everyone expected Porter would be getting picked in the top 3 of the 2018 draft. But first, he'd have to prove his superiority in the NCAA. Originally, Michael tried to join his father at the University of Washington, but when the college decided to fire Lorenzo Romar, Michael Sr. found an assistant position at the University of Missouri. Not only Michael Jr., but his brother Jontay played there for his father. However, luck would not be with them. Within 2 minutes of the opener game of the season, Porter suffered a lower back injury that required surgery. Michael would only play 3 games during the season after returning from the injury months later. And although all the scouts knew of the forward's enormous talent, his injury had prevented him from proving anything in college. They didn't know if his game would translate well, they didn't know if the injury would prevent him from doing his best. It was like drafting a kid fresh out of high school like 2 decades ago, but still, Michael decided to enter the draft. Despite his lack of experience, many scouts believed he could be selected in the top picks of the 2018 draft. But it didn't take long for the red flag to go up. Michael's back injury had not healed properly. Franchises believed that the player would not be able to play a single minute of his rookie season because he needed a second surgery, and that caused him to fall in the draft. But Michael Malone's Denver Nuggets didn't mind waiting. Porter was picked 14th overall in the draft, and effectively didn't play a minute of his rookie season. He also didn't play a huge role in the first season he did play, playing just 16.4 minutes per game in the season that would end on the bubble. But in 2020, the forward finally began to deliver what he promised, averaging 19 points and 7 rebounds in just 31 minutes, and finishing 3rd in the most improved player race. Michael became the Nuggets' starting small forward. The bad news? That the wing would suffer a new setback in his back injury, which would force him to undergo a 3rd surgery and miss the 2021-2022 season almost completely. But when injuries gave him a break, he's always shown what he was capable of. To this day, Porter Jr. is vital to Michael Malone. The forward's a scorer from all 3 levels with crazy shot selection who's capable of tearing up games with a good streak. And his key to doing so is very simple. This man has the highest release point in NBA history. It's insane. To cover that shot at that height is so difficult that he can shoot in almost any situation, and that's what makes him one of the most lethal shooters in the league. During his career, Michael's averaged 41% on 3-point shots, attempting more than 10 per 100 possessions. With such a high volume, it's hard to find a replacement that would work as well for the Nuggets. In fact, the team's so confident in his importance that they rewarded him with a contract worth $180 million over 5 seasons after playing just 116 NBA games. After being criticized for his playoff performances over the past few seasons, Porter's being different this year. During these playoffs, Michael's increased his production for the first time ever over the regular season. Averaging 17 points per game, shooting 50% from the field and 45% from 3-point range, the wing was instrumental in the Nuggets being able to eliminate the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs in just 5 games. It's hard to think of a more unfortunate situation. Not only did Michael have to live the life of an adolescent prodigy whose injuries forever blighted his career, not only did he have to see his aspirations limited by a back that never seemed to give him a break. Once he overcame all of these adversities, he's had to deal with much more serious real-life problems. After witnessing his brothers suffering penalties or even being jailed, he's had to go out and defend his family honor on the court. At the busiest time of the year in the NBA, Michael has every reason to take his mind off the court. He has reason to be unfocused. However, talent is not his best ally at this point. Rather, what he's hiding underneath that resilient look, that impressive mindset. Yeah, that's really a secret.